In the 1870s, the British Empire was reaching the height of its power. The British turned their eyes to South Africa, a land rich in resources. Southern Africa, with its vast landscapes and diverse peoples, remained a region where British influence was still patchy and incomplete. For the imperial planners in London, this could not stand. In 1877, the British sent Sir Henry Bartle Frere, appointing him High Commissioner for Southern Africa. But Frere was not sent merely to observe. He was sent to act. His mission was to bring the existing British colonies, the Boer republics, and the powerful indigenous African kingdoms under a single unified British authority. Frere viewed the independent Zulu kingdom as the biggest possible threat to this plan, and sought an excuse to declare war. Frere mobilized British troops on the border and requested a meeting with Cetshwayo's representatives in December. Frere presented them with an ultimatum. King Cetshwayo was required to disband his army and submit to British rule. The ultimatum was harsh, demanding radical change in the Zulu way of life, and it was intended by Frere that Cetshwayo would reject it. And on the 11th of January 1879, the ultimatum expired, and British forces, under Lieutenant General Lord Chelmsford, entered Zululand in 3 columns. The main center column, under the command of Lord Chelmsford, consisted of approximately 7,800 men. They crossed the Buffalo River into Zulu territory near Rorke's Drift and made camp on the far side of the river. Chelmsford was determined to attack Cetshwayo's Kraal, which lay some 8 kilometers from his camp. He intended this to secure his left flank for the advance upon the Zulu, capital of Ulundi, and as a punitive measure against Cetshwayo. A reconnaissance party of the Natal Mounted Police, under Major John Dartnell, was dispatched on the first day of the invasion. Dartnell's force approached Cetshwayo's Kraal along the Bashi Valley and returned to Chelmsford's camp. He reported hearing war songs being sung by a large party of Zulu in the valley, but could not locate them. Other scouting parties sent out in other directions captured a large number of Zulu cattle. Chelmsford ordered a force, commanded by Colonel Richard Thomas Glynn, leave the camp at 3:30 a.m. on the 12th of January. This force was a mixed force of troops of the 3rd Regiment Natal Native Contingent, commanded by Major Wilson Blackhand, and some irregular mounted infantry, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Cecil Russell. Chelmsford accompanied the force. 4 companies of the 2nd Battalion, 24th Regiment of Foot, also joined the force marching to Cetshwayo's Kraal. After around 8 kilometers of marching, Zulu were observed in the hills above them. Chelmsford ordered the force to prepare for action. Whilst Glynn and Chelmsford consulted on their battle plan, the Zulus taunted the British, shouting, "Why are you waiting there? Are you looking to build kraals? Why don't you come on up?" The Zulu defenders were commanded by Makumbika Zulu Sihayo, one of Sihayo's sons involved in the Natal raid. Chelmsford and Glynn were determined to clear the Zulu from the gorge before proceeding to the kraal to burn it. Chelmsford ordered Russell's mounted infantry to move to the south where the slope was climbable, and to sweep around behind the Zulus on the heights to threaten them and cut off any retreat. In the meantime, the Natal Native contingent under Hamilton Brown began the assault on the Zulus on the lower ground. The 2nd Battalion of the 3rd Regiment of the Natal Native contingent and additional men from the 24th Regiment of Foot were held in reserve. Brown had been ordered by Chelmsford not to open fire before the Zulu did, and to avoid harming any Zulu women or children. The Natal Native contingents were in good spirits until they came under fire from Zulu marksmen hiding in the hill. These first few shots made the British colonial troops pause. At this point, they were challenged by a Zulu shouting, "By whose orders do you come to the land of the Zulus?" Hamilton Brown's interpreter, Lieutenant R. Duncombe, replied, "By the orders of the Great White Queen." The Zulus then shot again, and the Natal Native contingent responded. The Natal Native contingent became pinned down, but Hamilton Brown led one company to assault the Zulus in the rough ground. The assault was successful in clearing a small group of Zulus at the base of the gorge. The Zulu warriors retreated up steep paths leading to the top of the cliffs. Meanwhile, the main force of Natal contingent was still pinned down. Seeing them falter, Captain Henry Harford moved forward to support Hamilton Brown. Harford managed to rally a group of Natal Native contingent men and made some forward progress. The men of the 24th also advanced, their rifles with fixed bayonets, proving an encouragement to the Natal Native contingent. Slowly, the British force pushed the Zulus back and they reached the top of the hill. In the meantime, Russell's mounted contingent, had also reached the heights. They soon came under fire from a party of 60 Zulus on rocky ground. They dismounted and advanced in skirmish order, returning fire. By 10 a.m., the Zulus had been driven off. After the action, a force of 4 companies and part of the 2nd Battalion of the 3rd Natal Native Contingent, under the overall command of Colonel Henry Degacher of the 24th Regiment, was sent to Sihayo's Kraal with orders to raise it. This was witnessed by men of the 1st Battalion, who, being on higher ground, could see that the Kraal was unoccupied and good-humouredly mocked their comrades. Degacher's men then marched into the Kraal and burnt it to the ground. The entire force marched back to its camp by the Buffalo River, reaching it by 4 p.m. The force then continued on their march to Ulundi. Their march was affected by a heavy thunderstorm, and by the 20th of January, they reached their final destination, Isandlwana.